Hey y'all, welcome to Lumberjillville. Women's wrestling lives here. Now today I am joined by the treasurer, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over all the wrestling figure images from ComicCon at home last week that were released. So we're going to give our comments, our feedback, not that they're highly important or anything, but we're just really excited to do this, and it seems like a lot of fun. And I'm glad that the treasurer could join us today because, he's my best friend in real life, and putting our characters aside, wrestling has always been a bond that we shared. All those Hasbros and WCW figures in the background are ones that we grew up playing with, so there's a lot of nostalgia there. And I'm excited for him to be here. Now, that being said, he's been out of the wrestling loop a little bit. So he's getting back into it. He's been checking the pegs fig hunting a little bit. So I'm really trying to get him into collecting wrestling figures. And since I collect the female wrestling figures, trying to get him to collect some of the males. And I think I'm getting him there. So this little display of the Comic-Con images might be pretty cool for him. So what do you got?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Aaron. I'm definitely happy to be here. Glad to be back into the wrestling figure game. I forgot how much I loved it, but like Aaron said, 90s WCW, 100% my game there. So hopefully, looking through some of the notes that I have here, I think we're going to have some pretty cool things to talk about a little bit later. So hey, excited.
Awesome. All right, so let's dive in. Let's start looking at these images. So I'll try to put these in order. I tried to group these to where you can kind of see the series that are coming out and the images by series. When all the images were released at Comic-Con, it was a big cluster just all over the place. So I tried to put some type of organization to them. So that being said, there's only a couple images added for some of these basic series, but we'll cover what we got. So let's start off with basic series 113. Sound good?
Absolutely.
All right, so this one I'm excited about. This is Mia Yim's debut figure now. She's a wrestler that's been with WWE for a few years and, down in the NXT brand, and she's been killing it. I mean, she's one of those wrestlers that if you need a good match out of a female, then she's like the gold standard. She's amazing. I think she deserves a main roster call-up, and I'm really excited she's getting a basic. And on top of that, I'm really excited that it looks like they're going to be using unique parts on her. Recently, a lot of the women's basics have just been repaints in their attire using like generic molded parts. That's why the Carmella moonwalking behind me looks like she's about 8 feet tall because it's not really fit to her, but this looks awesome. The pants look a little baggy, molded. She's got a little molded scarf tied around her waist. This looks like Mia Yim. So I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, I like it. It definitely looks unique, from other figures that I've seen. So
awesome. Now the rest of the figures in the line, they didn't release images, but it's going to be a Drew McIntyre, John Cena, Buddy Murphy, and Edge with a chase. So moving on to basic 115. Okay, so we got another female superstar that's down in NXT. We got Tegan Knox. Now I'm really excited about this figure because this looks just like her. I mean, honestly, the double knee braces is perfect considering she's coming back from double knee surgery. The green pops on her. That face is perfect. Now, I know some people were saying, oh, the body looks out of proportion, but if you watch her matches, you know that she has very thick, strong legs. So this looks perfect to her. The only thing I'm wondering about is she wears Captain Marvel inspired gear, and that's what this looks like. So I wonder if they'll be able to get away with it in the final product. If they don't, if they have to change it, that's going to ruin it a little bit, as we'll see in a certain elite down the road, that when you take away a certain gimmick from it, it ruins it. And we'll cover that later with Johnny Gargano. But thoughts on Tegan?
Yeah, I mean, not knowing too much about her, and just listening to what you're saying about it, I'm intrigued to see it. I definitely like the knee braces and everything. That's a nice added touch to it. So
cool. And we got our first guy here, and you won't know who this is because I barely do. No, he's been on TV for a while. Humberto Carrillo. He's like a classic babyface. Everyone loves him. This looks fine. I mean, it's a basic, but it looks great. It looks like a good basic.
Yeah. I mean, it looks basic.
Yeah, exactly. So not much to say. Now, let's go to basic 116, and they only released one image for that. In my opinion, it's a pretty bad one. Dakota Kai. So she's got this heel gimmick now, and she looks badass. However, the figure doesn't really get that. Now, this is early. This is a 3D rendering, as we're going to see a lot of. So this can definitely change, and this might be just a general layout of what it's going to end up looking like. But it looks bizarre. It doesn't look like her in the face. The hair looks a little too light. Everything else just looks painted on. I mean, the knee brace is nice, but I'm just hoping that a lot of changes are made to this. So I probably don't have much to say about this one here.
It reminds me of an old 90s Sims game, when it first came out, speaking Simlish and whatnot. But hopefully the actual figure looks a little bit different than this.
That does look like a Sims avatar.
Yeah.
Now let's jump forward to another female image they released, which is just awesome. And as y'all know that are watching this channel, I collect the women's division figures, and that's what I stand by. So many images were released and so many new first in the line women, and I'm excited, especially for this one. So basic 117, we got Toni Storm. Now she's been a huge star in NXT UK. I think she's been pretty much stuck overseas with the whole coronavirus thing, so we haven't really seen her on TV much here in the States, but she's a star all on her own. She was on the Indies, and now that she's in NXT UK, she really is. And for a basic figure, this looks awesome. And it looks like, and I hope they stand by this, it looks like she has unique molded parts to distribute, her physique, basically. It looks like they did that. So hopefully they stand by that and start putting more attention into detail on these women basics, because they kind of got lazy lately. So this, to me, looks stunning. This looks awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely looks really unique. It's not like anything I've seen before in the women's lineup. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be pre-ordering that. Now, a lot of these images I pre-ordered with overnight shipping to try to get a review out as quick as possible. So keep that in mind for a lot of these. All right, so now let's jump ahead to the elites. And there's a lot of images here. So let's start off with the Elite 2-pack. So this is from WrestleMania 2. It's Mr. T and Roddy Piper. And yes, another Mr. T. You're going to see more Mr. T's later in this. And the reasoning is WWE recently acquired the license to Mr. T, so we're going to get Mr. T Overload. And that's cool, especially for people that might be outside of the wrestling realm. They know who Mr. T is, so that's cool for them to see that. I mean, this is, like I said, it's WrestleMania 2 when he boxed Roddy Piper, is one of the worst wrestling matches of all time. So it's kind of weird to commemorate that, but I get that they're really trying to shove Mr. T down our throats, and this is a unique way to do it. Now, eventually, we're going to hope that they have a WrestleMania 1 Mr. T, which still has not been announced or anything. But other than that, I mean, I know you got something on this.
I get from a business standpoint, I can understand why they want to capitalize on the Mr. T, but I'm not necessarily going to be jumping out there to get that unless I can go ahead and get this Mr. T, and then I have a Rambo figure behind me. I can reenact Rocky 3 with it. So maybe we can do that.
Oh, you know what? We could get Mae Young. You'll see the Mae Young image down the road, and she could be like the Mickey.
Oh, absolutely.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon. But did you know I actually have some Jax Rocky figures? Jax, who made the Ruthless Aggression style wrestling figures, made Rocky ones, so it's kind of neat.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw those before.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. All right, so let's jump into the main Elite line. And let's start with Elite 79 coming out. Now, this should be out within the next month, and I can't wait. I mean, when this figure was announced, the first image we're going to look at here, I pre-ordered it with overnight shipping. I'm not going to keep saying that, but this one I had to because this looks just stunning. It's Io Shirai. Now, she is, in my opinion, she's probably the top talent in the WWE. And I'm not just talking women. I'm talking women, men, in general. She's amazing. And this figure looks stunning. Now, the designer of Mattel, Bill McKenna, he really has taken an extra attention to detail to a lot of the NXT figures, and it shows right here. Like the Kairi Sane figure is a great one. So much detail in it, so underrated. I don't know why I didn't give it a 10 out of 10 in my review, but I should have. And this Io Shirai it looks insane. So that jacket is unique, the fur is unique, that face is perfect. And like I said with the Kairi one, a good test to show how good a figure is if it looks like a shrunken down version of them, and this does. I mean, everything looks perfect. So this is up for contention of figure of the year, in my opinion, and it hasn't even been released yet.
Yeah, I love that. I love that leather jacket that it looks like she's wearing, the giant plume of feathers on the top of her head, and even the hair, man, it looks like a really good figure. I like it.
Yeah. Now, a lot of these we won't spend a whole lot of time on just because there's so much abundance. Like, we got Roman Reigns coming in that line. And honestly, I love Roman Reigns. God bless him. Seems like a good person, He hasn't been on TV in a while because, as y'all know, he had a battle with leukemia. So he's been really smart about that. And it's a shame that we haven't seen him. But WWE does tend to kind of force him down our throats. And even though he hasn't been on TV in a while, we're getting another elite of him, and that's kind of like, come on, like we've had enough Roman Reigns. But that being said, I think this looks great. I mean, for all the Roman Reigns fans out there, like, I'm happy for you because this looks like an awesome figure. Just one I won't be picking up.
We were talking about this before. I get that Roman Reigns is kind of a big star and they're kind of shoving him down your throat. But I got to be honest, man, I honestly haven't seen any of his figures on the pegs since I've started looking, and I'm pretty new. So again, full disclosure there. The one that I've seen everywhere is the AJ Styles. I mean, like I can't go anywhere without seeing that. So, I like it. I like it. I might pick it up. Who knows?
Yeah, no, it looks great, and yeah, that's a good point that you made. They haven't had a Roman, I guess, in a while, so it's probably not overkill, not like the AJ, which we'll come across AJs, don't worry, or Seth Rollins. All right, so next, let's move on to Bushwhacker Luke. I'm just kidding. This is Bobby Fish. Now, the Undisputed Era, people love them. They've had multiple figures released. Adam Cole, I believe, is going to be having 3 after this one released, or 4. I don't know. I lost track because they're great wrestlers. It's a great little faction at NXT, but they're just, to me, the attire and everything, the gimmick is just boring to me. What stands out is his NXT Tag Championship. I think that looks really smart, and the camo looks good. Now, he is the Chase in the set, and the Chase is just plain black, so this is definitely one, like, there's very few men's figures that I will pick up, and I'll go over those later. But this one, I think the face looks goofy. I think it looks like a bushwhacker, for God's sakes. So I'll definitely pass on this, but the addition of the NXT tag title, I like that.
Yeah, I definitely like that belt. That's a really neat belt.
Now, what would be nice is if Io Shirai came with the NXT women's title, because they tried doing that with Shayna Baszler. They tried doing that with Shayna Baszler here. I'll show this and then show, I guess, yeah, you can see the same. I was holding it over my phone. But anyway, with Shayna Baszler, it says she comes with the NXT women's title. This is the NXT women's title. It's not the women's. This is the men's title that they put on her, not the women's. So anyway, I just wish they would have really given her the NXT women's title, or at least released one with Io. So let's move on to another one that we're not going to be talking a whole lot about, because this one I know you've seen on the pegs. You had to have seen Daniel Bryan on the pegs. So the only cool thing about this figure is they got the short hair version of him released fairly quickly from when he cut his hair in real life. So that's pretty awesome that they got it released so fast. That's cool, but we have a lot of Daniel Bryans, and to put Daniel Bryan in elite form is just another reason to give him the yes fingers. I mean, there's no point to this. This doesn't appeal to me. But like I said, he's got a pretty big fan base, so that's great. I mean, it's fine. It's just boring.
Yeah, I will fully agree with that. It is very boring.
So moving on to the excitement, the opposite of boring, we got the New Day, and we got Big E Langston. I absolutely love the New Day. I'm big fans. And he comes with the SmackDown tag title, a stack of pancakes, which if you haven't been watching wrestling, you're probably so confused right now. But the New Day, they're out there. I mean, they're fun, they're positive, they're awesome. And this Big E looks great. I love the facial expressions that they give him in his figures, and this one looks awesome. I mean, this is awesome.
Yeah, when I was scanning through these when you sent them to me, I definitely stopped on his figure. I really like it. Honestly, I'll be honest, I didn't notice the pancakes, but now that you point them out, it was odd. So yeah, it's a great figure.
So moving on to his tag partner Xavier Woods, who's currently out in real life with a torn Achilles, so he'll be out a little while. Now this figure's got a lot of little Easter eggs in it. So the head that is on the figure that I'm going to be posting a picture of, It's when he paid attribute to Stevie Wonder. So he had the dreadlocks with the little beads in the hair, and this is his little Stevie Wonder look. So the fact they put that in figure form is cool. And the thing that stands out the most is the up, up, down, down championship belt he's wearing. Now, that is from his YouTube channel, which is one of my inspirations to making a YouTube channel, really, because I just thought it was so cool. It's so fun. It's video game related is what he does, but that's the up, up, down, down championship that he often has on the show. So the fact that they're making that in figure form, it's cool. But after seeing the NXT tag title, the up, up, down, down title, it's like, would it be that freaking hard to make an NXT women's title look like the NXT women's title? So I started getting all picket signy, you know, like equal right type thing, because that annoys me. But I mean, that's cool that he's getting that.
Yeah, I really like it.
And then moving on to The Undertaker, which is a Walmart exclusive. The Undertaker has had 1 million figures released, and he deserves that. I mean, the guy's a phenom. We grew up with him. Well, we didn't grow up with him, but we grew up watching him. And
yeah, we grew up on the block with him, man. We went to.
we get up in the mornings. All three of us would rise out of the same casket, eat breakfast.
That's right. Paul Bearer was our dad. Undertaker.
But I mean, this looks cool. The one thing I don't like, and we'll see this, and this drives me nuts. And to me, it looks so dumb. But you know, I'm a positive person. I keep my channel positive, and that's what I want to do. But I have to point out the stupid things, man. And the thing that they do a lot with these Mattel jackets, like a lot of the elites, like the Sting, Zack Ryder, even some of the Finn Balor's with the rubber leather jackets, and with this Undertaker, their arms stick out like 45 degrees, and it's like a Christmas story. Like that brother that couldn't put his arms down. And I get that they do that so you can maneuver it off of them, but I mean, Kairi Sane, you know, perfect example of how you can really mold and make a unique piece. And this is the freaking Undertaker. So, yeah, the fact that the jacket looks so goofy, yeah, we might have a domino effect here. But, yeah to me, I mean, it looks like a great figure. Now, what really stands out is I saw images of the box, and the box is like a purple and black. It looks cool. So, it looks like a cool Undertaker figure. It's just the jacket looks so dumb to me, really. The arm is just sticking out.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at the face of it, and I'm zooming in pretty close. It looks like somebody grabbed it and pulled it, you know, skinny. You know what I mean? Like grabbed it from the top of the head and the chin and just pulled down on it. It looks weird to me. The face scan.
I see what you're saying. It definitely looks elongated.
Yeah.
So, well, that was Elite 79, and that'll be here soon. Like, I can't wait to get that EO. So let's move on to Elite 80, and this is another one that I pre-ordered with overnight shipping, and I can't wait. Elite Series 80 Bayley. Now, this is the heel version of Bayley, and I love Bayley. I mean, I have a Bayley shirt. I've always been a big fan of Bayley. I love her personality, and when she turned heel, I love it even more. I mean, she's the queen of banter. She's hilarious. She's great. And we needed this figure bad. We needed this, and we needed a Sasha Banks with blue hair, which we'll get. We didn't see any images, but we're definitely getting those. So this Bayley's awesome. Now, this is not generally I wouldn't say not a kid-friendly channel, but this is made for collectors, adult collectors. And I look at that deflated two-man, and I see one thing, and it's a used.
Yeah. I think that's all you have to say, man.
Protection device. That's all I have to say, and that's what I see. But and I think that's a cool accessory. But again, like they put so much detail and attention into this deflated, wacky, wavy guy, but some of the figures can't get that much detail, and it's like, oh no. But this Bayley looks great. I can't wait. I mean, this looks perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
So, moving on to old Ricochet. Now, Ricochet's had a couple elites. I guess he's had 3. He had one with his old angel gear, the top picks of the year, and then he had the network spotlight, but he's very toyetic, you call it. I had one of the elites of his, the network spotlight one, and I had it on display for a while because his tattoo detail is amazing. And he's a great wrestler. You know, he's a good baby face. Everyone loves him. And It's cool that we're getting an Elite with his updated look a little bit. I thought that the basic that came out where he was in his Nightwing inspired gear kind of looked cheesy and cheap. So this Elite looks good, and I'm sure it's going to sell. So I'm really glad Ricochet is getting another Elite. He deserves it.
Yeah, I'm glad you kind of touched tattoo design, man. I was just looking at that. That's crazy, the detail.
And really, like, the Network Spotlight one comes with a T-shirt, and I took that baby off. You know, I was like, get that shirt off. I want to look at that tattoo detail. So, but I traded that one in too. So
yeah,
respect Ricochet. So I'm happy about that. All right, so now we got the Viking Raiders. Now these are cool. Now these have been talked about for a while because they were going to have to mold a lot of unique parts and a lot of unique things. Now the Viking Raiders here, we're starting off with Ivar. I always get them confused, so I had to look. So this is Ivar, and I think this one's great. I think the beard's a little dark, but that's such a nitpicky thing. I mean, you can't really see the accessories in the image I'm posting here, but you can see that he comes in with his entrance gear, a lot of molded extra accessories. And I mean, that body, the face, everything looks spot on. This looks amazing.
Yeah. This one and the next one you're going to talk about, I'd love to buy them just so I can reenact the show Vikings or something around here.
There you go. And then you could get Edge, because Edge is on there. So.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, moving on to Eric, like, this is one of those figures that anytime I watch people talking about, the images, they don't touch on it, and it drives me nuts because to me, okay, so it looks great from the waist up. It looks amazing, perfect, whatever. But those legs, it looks like he's got Kermit the Frog legs.
Yeah.
And that is not how they are. I mean, he wears kick pads. And they did this, I believe, with a recent Johnny Gargano figure where they just like elongated the shin and then painted it to make it look like a kick pad. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure this isn't the final product. In the upper extremity looks amazing. Everything about it looks highly detailed, but those legs, they look like straight up Kermit the Frog legs. They do not look like they're in scale. I think it looks goofy, so hopefully they fix that.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, looking at between the knee pad and the boot, it does look like they just painted his leg essentially. So he's like wearing half stockings or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but those look fun. I mean, overall, I think those look great. Mattel did a great job, so I'm not trying to talk bad. It's just those legs, man. Kermit. All right, so next up we got Kevin Owens. Now he's one of the most toyetic superstars in the WWE, and he's honestly one of my favorite male wrestlers. He's amazing. He's truly underrated. I want him to be champ again. Like he's awesome. And for a big man, he's just super talented. However, that being said, he's one of those superstars that has had 1 million figures. I mean, 1 million. And in a world where we've had one Charlotte Flair Elite, it's like, do we need another Kevin Owens Elite? Do we need another Kevin Owens figure? Like, he's had so many, and he's had a lot of different face scans, some bad, but most of them pretty good. And this one looks fine. I mean, he's got the big beard on here. It looks perfect, actually. And I think, no matter what. What's up?
That's definitely one of the better ones I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, but my whole problem is this. Like, if you collect all the Bayley figures and you put them in a line, they all look different, even if it's just paint deco. If you collect every Kevin Owens figure that Mattel has released and you line them up, they all look the same. I mean, it's his wrestling attire. It's what he wears. I get that, but it's just, to me, it's boring. I mean, the Stun Owens Stun shirt's cool, and it looks great. It's a great figure, but kind of like the Roman Reigns, it's like we've had so many already that I'm not really going cuckoo over it. Mm-hmm. All right. Next, we have Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, copy and paste Bobby Fish.
That's what I was going to say. Did you mix up and put the wrong photo in our notes here?
Yeah, no. So this is Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, the face scan, yeah, it looks good. I mean, it looks like him a lot. He comes with that tag title, meant to pair with that Elite 79 Bobby Fish. It looks fine. It's one of those figures that if you get this one, then you have to get the other one. I mean, if you're a fan of the Undisputed Era, then this is great, but otherwise, boring. I mean,
yeah.
And I am going to say this, that I tried to organize these by series, and if I'm wrong here, like, I hope y'all understand. I just tried to make it easier for us to go through it, like for you guys to watch this and kind of have organization to it. So I might have missed a couple, but so special edition elite in this set is Rocky Johnson, so The Rock's dad, and it's a Target exclusive. And this looks good. I recently just saw an image of the robe off, and it looks like he's going to have his little birds on his chest, which look like really goofy looking nipples, but they're little bird tattoos. But either way, I mean, this is cool. You know, he recently passed away this past year, and it's cool to get a Rocky Johnson for all the classic wrestling fans out there.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea of the figure, but I'm going to point out a detail of the pose that they have him in that you're never going to be able to unsee. It looks like somebody just caught their dad getting out of the shower, and his one hand is clasped and closed. Like, oh, you were supposed to be in here.
Yeah, you know what I saw when I saw it? The Venture Brothers, that boxer that's always
yes.
He's got brain damage. He's always punching. Yeah. So let's move on to Elite 81 because this is great. This is a great set. And starting off, we got Bianca Belair. Now her basic. Don't fall. Okay. So her basic that was released is, you know, a pretty good figure. The paint is really sloppy and they just painted over generic molds, but the hair, the face, everything looks pretty cool on it. So she deserved an elite. Now I think the face scan looks a little off and her basic almost looks better, but I mean, I'm sure that'll be fixed. And the fact that she comes with her sunglasses and she makes her own attires in real life. So the detail in the attire is, it's awesome. So this might be a 10 out of 10 figure when it's released. And I'll definitely be pre-ordering this with the overnight shipping so I can get this ASAP because I love that.
Look, man, you spend a lot of money on pre-orders. You know that?
Hey, you know what? I got to. I really do, but it's one of those things I got to give viewers of this channel the first look as quick as I can of these women's figures. So,
of course.
So moving on, we got the Street Profits. Now they're a fun tag team, and they recently just had basics released. However, to me, those basics were kind of weird because it was an attire that they wore, I believe, in Saudi. So it was kind of an abstract attire, and it really didn't represent the Street Profits. So these elites are, I mean, Angelo Dawkins, that looks good. That looks like him. Not much to really say about it, but Montez Ford, holy moly, he comes with a crown, sunglasses, a chain, that vest, and he comes with his little red cup. It's not a red Solo cup, probably for reasons, but I mean that looks perfect. So those two as a set, as covering them as a whole, those look awesome.
I agree.
And even though I'm not a men's figure collector, those are two that if I see them on the pegs, it's going to be hard not to get them just because they look so good.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a couple fun ones here. We got the first release by Mattel of Stunning Steve Austin. Now, a lot of people have been waiting for this. This is his WCW representation when he was tag team partners with Brian Pillman and when he was in the Hollywood Blondes. And they have released a Brian Pillman that would pair and match nicely with this. So I think that's cool. I think he might come with a director's chair or something too, I saw. But either way, I mean, it's a cool figure. It represents him in that time era and everything, and the belt's awesome.
Yes, I love the figure. I get again that this is a computer rendering. There's something off on that face, though. I understand he had hair back then. I've seen pictures and everything, but there's something off on his face.
Sure, I can agree with that after zooming in, yeah.
Yeah.
But it should be fixed.
Oh, yeah.
Now, speaking of nothing wrong with the face, we got I'm just kidding. We got Mae Young. Now, there's a lot to talk about with this because so she comes with the Mae Young Memorial Trophy, and I believe this is a Target exclusive, okay? So she comes with the she's a Walmart exclusive. Anyway, okay. So this trophy she comes with, I think it was the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. They're calling it the Aggro Crag.
Oh, that's what it looks like if it was green.
I know, yeah. So you can't really unsee it. You know what I mean? So yeah. I was laughing at that, but honestly, I'll get this. I don't know if I'll pre-order with the overnight because Mae Young, I mean, she was way before our times. Like she wrestled way back in like the 50s or something, and the late 90s was when she had her big comedic run the WWE, and it's actually shameful to watch the things that they did with her and stuff. One of the angles is she was pregnant and she gave birth to a hand by Mark Henry. So the fact that she comes with two hands, like there's a lot of jokes on the web going, oh, she comes with twins and all that. And it's like, oh, no. So I think it would have been cool if they made like a young Mae Young, like an old school 50s Mae Young. Because this era, this time, I mean, I might not even get this figure because this is when she was getting powerbombed through tables and she was like dressing all scandalous and wearing thongs. And it was kind of sad how they used her. So,
yeah.
But it looks great. It looks cool.
Yeah, I think it looks good. Absolutely.
So that was base or Elite 81. So let's move on to some of the series that don't have all the pictures released. Now we have Elite 82 and we have Alexa Bliss. Now this figure looks unbelievable. Comair Alexa will be super happy about this. I won't know how, off character, I won't know how to approach reviewing this with Comair Alexa. That's why I haven't reviewed an Alexa figure, but I have to get this. I might get two of these because she comes with the first ever women's tag title. I was really hoping the Nikki Cross that was released in the basic line, which should be here any day this week. I was really hoping that she came with a tag title too, but of course they want to do that with a basic. Why would they? I mean, I wish, but so you'd have to get two Alexas to get those titles, and I'll probably do that. Now, this looks awesome. It comes with her gloves, so she can do her little pose. It's spot on in the face, the body, everything. This figure's a perfect figure.
Yeah, I kind of like the detail they're paying to like her abdominal area and even her thighs, man. The muscle sculpture there is awesome.
Absolutely, and that looks like a different, like a new type mold. Very fitting to her physique. So they did a great job there.
Yep.
Now, this is a random one, but this Jerry Lawler I am going to pre-order and get. And the reason why is I have a little shelf that I covered in my collection review that I kind of dedicated to King of the Ring 1994. And that was like my first wrestling memory was watching that with my grandpa and my dad. They had a black box. I think they watched it illegally, but hey, whatever. You know what I mean? It was cool. And I try to get some figures that are from that night, like a Razor Ramon in purple. There's a Classic Superstars 1, 2, 3 kit I'll get down the road. But this Lawler is actually, I'm sure he wore it other times too, but King of the Ring 94, he wore this exact attire when he wrestled Roddy Piper. So I definitely want to get this figure and put it to my King of the Ring 94 shelf. So I'm excited for this one. And it's honestly, I think it's the first figure by Mattel that depicts him in his wrestling attire.
Yeah, it's definitely an iconic look that he's got going. I like it.
So moving down, we have a Walmart exclusive British Bulldog. Now, this breaks my heart. This pains me. And the reason is it's a Walmart exclusive and it's the British Bulldog. So they kind of pulled this with past figures. So this being such a big star in the UK, not being able to be bought in the UK is horrible. I mean, I feel horrible. There's a lot of WWE committed wrestling figure collectors, channels, and groups and everything. And Pete Dunne was the one that was an exclusive, I believe, to Target, his first figure. And it was like hundreds of bucks to get it overseas. And that's so wrong. And the British Bulldog, I mean, this is iconic. This is the British Bulldog, probably the biggest star they've ever had from the UK. And it comes with Matilda, okay? So, that sucks. That's heartbreaking. It looks like a great figure, but that's just,
Yeah, that's just a giant middle finger right there.
I don't know why they would do that. I can't figure that out. It's like they could have, I don't know. So hopefully that gets a little fixed or something, but I really want my UK peeps to get that figure. So moving on, we got Keith Lee in his second figure. He's had a basic, which was a great basic. And Keith Lee, there's not a bigger star in NXT right now in the men's division because he's the North American champion and the NXT champion, although I think he relinquished one of them recently just so he could give someone an opportunity or something. But he's a big man, and you could tell by this figure mold, which looks unique to him. But he's one of the top. I mean, he's amazing to watch. You'll have to watch some of his matches because he's a I don't know what you call it, but he's just a awesome wrestler.
And the amount of detail they took in the veins that pop onto his arms, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, he looks great. So this looks awesome. I mean, it could have been, I guess, a little bigger because he's a huge boy, but they get the point across. And I can't tell if that little vest is going to be fabric or plastic, but It looks like a great elite. I'm happy for him. I think he deserves that.
Definitely.
Oh God, I just scrolled down. Don't scroll down further. So next we got John Morrison. And John Morrison has been all over the wrestling world. I used to love him when he was an M&M with Melina and Joey Mercury. And I've been a big John Morrison fan, and he recently came back to WWE, and the turnaround for them getting a figure released again of him has been pretty quick. And they have a Survivor Series elite that we'll cover, but this John Morrison looks great. I mean, they did a great job on this figure. It looks just like him. No complaints.
Yeah, I definitely like the detail on the pants, all the crosses and everything. Yeah, it's wow. And it almost looks like a unique mold there in the chest as well.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so get ready. Get ready for someone like you who's been out of the wrestling game. I'm trying to get you back into it. You're slowly getting back into it. This is going to be a huge WTF moment. So we have, say the name.
Rob Gronkowski.
Oh, baby, Rob Gronkowski. Now, I have mixed feelings about this because he was the host of WrestleMania this year, which by host it means he came in, cut a 20-minute promo, won the 24/7 title, and then didn't even show up for day two. It was a pre-taped intro, obviously, and segment, because he wore the same thing on day two that he did day one, which tells me it was a pre-taped 20-minute segment that he came in to do and left. So he wasn't even like wanting to watch it or be involved with it. So a big ol', F you, Rob. There's also rumors that he was going to wrestle, but that didn't happen. So a lot of fans out there are pissed that Rob Gronkowski is getting an elite when there's tons of superstars out there who don't have an elite yet or that don't have a figure yet. And Homeboy had a contract with the WWE, tiny bit of time, barely had any TV time, and then boom, he gets a figure. Now, some people are pissed about that, and the other people are saying, which I understand both sides are saying, hey, this is great. Because a lot of stores like Walmart and Target, the distribution problems have been real, and it's been very difficult to pick up new figures, new series. And I mean, I've seen it firsthand. I go to a bunch of different Walmarts and Targets almost daily, and it's a joke. So maybe if this one sells great by people that might not be wrestling fans, that might be like, oh my God, Rob Gronkowski, oh boy, like that might actually help the distribution problem. So who knows? I see both sides. Will I get it? No way. I mean, there's no shot in the world, but I'm thinking there's enough of people out there that are into football and the NFL and into his crazy antics that will get it, and that might help the wrestling figure distribution as a whole.
I will not be purchasing this figure. It is goofy as hell. That's all I'm going to say.
I thought you pre-ordered it. I'm just kidding.
Why are you telling my secrets, man?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
the face on this rendering, he looks like he's having like a seizure or something in it.
It
I don't know, man.
bad.
It looks bad. Yeah.
I didn't even comment on that. Good point. Like, not even touching on what the actual figure detail. I mean, the face looks horrible. He's got a painted on white shirt. Like,
yes.
I call that the Victoria's Secret look.
Okay, it almost looks like he just has got no sun on his torso ever. It's got a little bit of a tan on his legs and stuff. Yeah, it looks bad. It's bad.
So yeah, so that's an up in the air thing, but either way, I'll put up an image so y'all can see. Now, let's move to some of the later Elite series that don't have many figures images out. Elite 83. We got King Corbin. Now, I'm excited for this figure because I'm a big Baron Corbin fan. I think he's underrated. I think he gets a lot of shit. He gets a lot of heat. People just can't stand him. And so far, his figures that come out have like a full head of hair, and he's been bald for years, like literally. So that's been like kind of an inside joke as to why can't they get the hair right. This looks perfect. And fun fact, this was, I believe, last September, I went to Monday Night Raw in Knoxville, and he won the King of the Ring tournament that night, which is bittersweet because King of the Ring 94 was my first wrestling memory, and I was there when King Corbin won the King of the Ring tournament. And this figure definitely signifies that. So I don't collect men figures, but that Jerry Lawler, boom, this King Corbin, I really do want this. And I might even display it mint because I was there, the night that he won the tournament, and I'm a big fan of him. So I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I love that cape. I love the detail in the cape and everything, man. That's awesome.
Unique. I mean, unique, different mold. So yeah. I'm excited for that. Now, there's a name that I have with no image, and it's Sasha Banks. she's had an image that's been rumored out there, but I don't want to throw rumored images. I'm using all my images from WWE.com, paying a tribute to them. But the image floating around is a blue-haired Sasha Banks with a jacket mold that has her hands up, so you can do a legit boss mold. So that's the rumored Elite picture, but I won't post that because I don't want to steal someone's image. Now, going on to Elite 84, we have Angel Garza in his first figure. I don't know if he's going to be in a basic line before this, but it looks good. I mean, it looks cool. It looks fun. Looks like Angel Garza. Now we are getting that Humberto Carrillo, Angel Garza. We've had, you know, a lot of those figures, and I really wish we would get an Elite Zelina Vega. We got a basic, which I have up on my shelf with her autograph card, and she's great. She's awesome. She carries, you know, the team. So that'd be nice to get an Elite of her. But this looks great. I think this looks like a cool Elite.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to one that I'm going to enlarge this picture. I'm really excited for this. It's Rhea Ripley. Now, she's a huge star in NXT. She had a match with Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania this past year. And, I mean, they nailed it with this figure. Like, this looks amazing. This looks awesome. Now, I'm hoping that all those chain details and molds that's in her lower extremity, I'm hoping that it is molds and it's not just painted on detail, because as you'll see with the basic Nikki Cross, she has like straps painted on her chest, and it looks dumb when you have painted things that need to be textured. It's like, what are you doing? But this looks awesome. It looks like the little spikes on her shoulder are molded, and that face scan's perfect. I mean, this is going to be a must-have figure, and this might be up for figure of the year along with Io Shirai. If it comes out this year, this might be a 2021 release. We'll see how the Elite Series go, but this is by far an easy pre-order overnight ship for me. I absolutely love that. And the little smirk that she has, man.
If they do the detail on the legs, man, this will be an awesome figure.
Yeah. I mean, if they give her, I call it the Stephanie McMahon treatment, because her figures have been the most detail molded figures that don't get any credit.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I know. And I did get a comment in one of my videos when I reviewed her figure and gave it a 10. They're like, I'm glad that you don't let your personal feelings of them affect the figure review. And I mean, that's true. You'll see a lot of reviews, like the upcoming Nia Jax review, that at some point I'll do, like, I'll give it a great score, but do I like Nia Jax as a performer? Not really. So I try to be objective. I try to be whichever one.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next we have Kushida. I can't tell you a whole lot. Now, I do watch WWE on a weekly basis. I don't watch a whole lot of NXT except for the women's. And I can't really tell you. I can't really tell you who he is. I hate to say. I don't know if I just miss his matches or miss his TV time, but the fact he's getting Elite, he must be a big star, and I must have just missed him. But I saw this, and I'm like, who in the F or what is a Kushida? You know what I mean? He comes with a little Marty McFly jacket from Back to the Future, it looks like.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say about it because I don't know much about him, and I'm sure he's an awesome talent. I just haven't really caught his matches or anything. So
to me, it looks like a guy who was just on the moon and came off and took his shirt off, because you look at those boots, walking boots. It's like he just was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm going to rip that shirt off and be out of here.
Yeah, and he does. Like, the lower half is very puffy. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So let's move on all the way to Elite 87. Now, this is a obvious 3D rendering, not painted, of Candice LeRae. She's on the Elite squad, so she was on the Elite board when they were releasing the images. And, oh, man, if they paint this thing up like they should, this figure is going to be fire. Now, Elite 87, God knows when that will be released. There's like a couple months between Elite sets usually. So this could be far into 2021. Who knows? But this will be a cool figure either way whenever it is released and painted. All right, so we are done with the Elite series. Let's move on to an exciting series, and this will be a nostalgic one for you that I'm excited to get your opinion on, Tresh. It's the Legend series, which are Target exclusives. So starting off with Legend Series 8, we have the Ultimate Warrior. Now this is cool because this signifies his very last promo on television after he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he gave a speech. He had his little toy mask that he wore out, and he passed away, I believe, the next morning. So this is an iconic moment, kind of a somber type thing, but if you're an Ultimate Warrior collector or a collector of like, you know, defining type moments like that series, then this would be a good one.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I do like the figure a lot. You know, and obviously I'm a big fan of the Ultimate Warrior, but I think for that somber reason is why I would kind of stay away from it. I don't need something that's going to remind me of like literally the next day after this was modeled, dude died. So, but
Yeah.
I do like it, and I think it's kind of nice that they're doing it. I just don't think it's one that I'm going to be picking up.
Yeah, I hear you on that. And I didn't post a picture, but the detail on the jacket is typical awesome detail. But I have to tell you, we'll cover it later with the Ultimate Charlotte Flair, but they've really decreased the standard and quality of their robes and whatnot. If you zoom in, it looks to be that paper thin material that they used on Triple H's robe and what they're going to use in the Ultimate Charlotte Flair. It looks so cheap. It's like,
Yeah.
if you make it a little thicker, it wouldn't be so bad. But that, I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
So moving on, we got Latino Heat, baby. Eddie Guerrero, one of my favorite performers of all time. I absolutely love Eddie Guerrero. I haven't been able to get a Mattel Elite or a basic of his. I would probably pick this up. You know, like I said, I collect women's division only and review those. But there are a couple ones that stand out, and this is a maybe for me. Definitely a maybe for me. The King Corbin's a must. The Jerry Lawler's a must. Both Kings is kind of interesting. What's my deal?
Yeah. I don't know. You crave power. You're the mayor, so I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I'll be king of Lumberjillville. Anyway.
If I have anything to say.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, Eddie, I mean, this I believe this depicts 2005 Eddie right before he passed away. I think this is his last shirt that was sold on the merch stand. So this is a cool Eddie to have. But again, like with what you're talking about, like we got two in a row that kind of depicts like you can't look at this figure and think, oh man, this is right when he died pretty much. Same with the Warrior. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, dude, let's try to get some positive legends in here. Jesus.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know, I obviously, I really liked Eddie Guerrero from the WCW days. So, you know, the Eddie Guerrero I knew was not short-haired Eddie Guerrero. It was walking around with a mullet, you know, LWO, right? He was part of the LWO. I'm not, you know,
he was the leader of it.
That's right. That's right. So, you know, I like it. Again, I don't know if I'll be picking it up, but.
Yeah. I mean, and these Legends ones are usually, you know, they're pre-ordered on Target.com and people, I mean, in all of the groups I'm in, so many people complain about these series and the Target pre-order. So I don't think Target's the best place to pre-order from, but there's one thing you learn about the internet is people always have something to complain about. So just to go on a side note, a side rant, my opinion is if you're a mint on card collector, so you want these cards of these figures like mint, okay? Like, for example, this Carmella I just got, okay? It's got a little bend in the top and a crease in the back. Like, if I was a mint on card collector, I'd be like, not acceptable, right? I can't tell you how many posts daily are in these groups of people getting figures shipped to them either by people or by websites, and they complain about the card not being mint. Now, my opinion is if you're a mint on card collector, get off your ass and go look yourself at the stores. If you can't get it there, you can't get too mad about the shipping. You know, there's other problems in the world. That's just, I had to get that off my chest because that drives me nuts that people are complaining. And it's one thing if I stuffed, or if that Carmella came in like an envelope, then I'd be like, hey, what are you doing, man? And I'll open it. But you got to understand that you're not shipping like nuclear materials. It's a figure, you know, and a lot of companies don't get that. And Target and Walmart are two that have been pretty bad about sending it and keeping the card mint. So if you want a mint figure, go in the stores and look, really.
You guys can send your mail to Mayor Aaron at P.O. Box 480 in Lumberjillville.
I just had to say that because
Treasurer does not endorse anything that Mayor Aaron says.
Well, I listen, I love these collector groups and the people, but I just wish there was a day that'd go by where people aren't like, I got this in the mail today from Ringside. I hate Ringside. There's a big dent in the top. And it's like, okay. Anyway.
Oh, kidding aside, I agree with you for the record.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I just want it to be a positive community and people complaining about that. If you really want to get your card mint, then wouldn't that be fun to try to find it at the stores or travel to a different state? I don't know, and pick it up and look. But I know it's hard with the distribution thing, so it's a sensitive subject. But let's move on to Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. Not much to say. The robe looks like a higher quality than the robes we've seen so far.
Yeah.
which is interesting because it's Paul Orndorff. I don't think he's going to sell a whole lot of these.
No. Honestly, I don't even really remember him. He must have been way before my time.
He was before our time a little bit, yeah.
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah.
Was his gimmick something with Winter Wonderland? Because he kind of looks like Santa Claus in this robe.
You know what? If it was blue, this would be an Elsa inspired ring attire. So
yeah,
I don't. Yeah, I mean that was before our time a little bit. So it looks like him. It looks great.
Yeah.
Not much to say, but we have a lot to say about the next figure.
Oh yeah.
So this is Jake the Snake Roberts, and he also has a chase. Now, he has a regular version in maroon with a blue snake, and the boots are a little darker, and then the chase. Now, we're really going to talk about the chase, but looking at these two images, I mean, Jake the Snake is what we remember about WWF in the early 90s. I mean, Damien the Snake, the bag that it comes with that the snake goes in is awesome. However, that sucks that the chase version is the version that's more iconic to us. Boom.
Right here. This is the one. The chase will be the one that I'm getting for sure.
Yes. And I don't know how it works with pre-orders on Target. Someone could correct me in the comments or tell me how, but I don't know if you can pre-order just the chase variant. I think you pre-order the figure and the chase might come, or you might get the regular. I don't know. You might be able to, and that's what sucks because, like you said, this is a no-brainer buy for you that you would review on this channel, and it would be fun for you. But how do you get it? I don't know if you can just pre-order the chase or if you have to do the regular and hope you get the chase. No idea.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, they both look cool, don't get me wrong, but that chase, like you said, it matches up to that Hasbro, and the snake skin pops out on the boots. Like, that is a wonderful figure.
Yeah, I definitely, you know my thoughts on it, so. And
I'm excited to go through a lot of these and see which ones you'd be interested in buying, because right now the options that you have are AJ Styles, and there's an AJ Styles that you can get on the shelf.
Yep.
So let's move on to Legend Series 9, which has another must-buy for you. You can go ahead and get the Hasbro ready. We'll start off with Nikolai Volkov. That's before our time too, Trej, but it looks like a good figure of him. And if it comes with a little jacket like he wore, then that's cool. It's good for classic collectors, and it looks like a cool figure. Now, moving on, we got the $1 Million Man, baby. Not Johnny Manziel like I'm doing.
He's my hero. Hero.
That's exactly. That's the Treasurer's golden dream right there, the $1 Million Man. And the fact that we're getting him finally released in his black suit with gold lapel that matches that Hasbro. I mean, come to think of it, we've had 2 Legends figures match the Hasbro release. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I love I actually really like the chase variant. This could be one where I'd be really tempted to get both of them. The Mrs. Treasurer probably wouldn't be happy about that, but I love the belt. I think the face detail is awesome. And obviously the black and gold one, man, that's where it is for me. But I might have to get that chase variant as well.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like a great figure, and the $1 Million title is awesome. So that's cool. And the side note about the chase variant is I think that's meant to match. There was a Virgil, which I believe was a Toys R Us exclusive a few years back. Rest in peace, Toys R Us. Respect. Moment of silence. But anyway, that Virgil was in like the silver with the pink, so I think that's meant to match that. So that might pair nicely, but I don't think anyone's in a real rush to find that Virgil. I mean, I wouldn't be, but... Oh, okay. So now we're going into Legends Series 10, and we have Brutus the Effin' Barber Beefcake, 2 versions. Now, do we need 2 versions of Brutus the Barber? Absolutely not. We don't. Yeah. But they're fun. They're fun and they're exciting. I kind of wish that the pants, so a big thing with his Mattel figure or his Hasbro figures. His second Hasbro release in particular is it had contrasting designs on his pants, like a mishmash, okay, like a cut-up design. This is just a plain pattern on his pants, plain on his arms. I mean, it works for Brutus, but I thought they could have put a lot more attention to detail in it. But again, it looks fine. It's loud. It stands out. I'm a bright neon loving person. Will I get this? No. I think the selling point for this for people is the inclusion of that classic tag championship. But it's a Brutus. Not much to say.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I kind of like the yellow and pink one a little bit better than the blue and purple one. But not something that I'm really interested in.
So I'll let you take the next one here.
So the reason Aaron's turning it over to me is because my all-time favorite wrestler, while I love the $1 Million Man and Jake the Snake, my all-time favorite wrestler is Diamond Dallas Page. So they released a photo of the mock-up of what the Diamond Dallas Page figure is going to look like. First of all, I have two gripes with it, but I will say I'm ecstatic that the DDP figure is coming out. I'm such a big fan. I had the black shirt with the blue, the diamond hands on it. We went and saw. I think I even went and saw him live at like only the couple live events I went to. I'm ecstatic. But I will talk about the two negative things I don't like about this. The first thing being, for me, the true DDP is from the 90s. Like, I want the jeans with the rib wrap, long hair, dancing around the ring, that kind of, Diamond Dallas Page. I'm not a big fan of the short-haired DDP, mainly because of how he was kind of treated in WWE. And then to lend credence to that, the other black eye on this figure, so to say, is that horrible earpiece that they're going to potentially include with this figure. Obviously, that relates to his gimmick when he came back to the WWE as the stalker. You can't do that. You cannot do that to DDP, the People's Champ, the original People's Champ, no Rock, the People's Champ of the WCW. So I'll shut up now and let you go ahead and take it.
No, dude, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, to us, the iconic Diamond Dallas Page was in the jeans, the rib wrap, the vest occasionally, but mostly the T-shirt. Yep. And they've released a basic in jeans, which is pretty close to that. And there's a couple elites. You have the one, but this is cool because it's a different time era that they're releasing. But what's not cool is, like you said, the stalker gimmick where he was stalking Michelle McCool. I think that's what that is, that earpiece. I think that's what and that's just weird for a Legends line. That's weird, like glorifying such a bad storyline. You know what I mean? Like, I can't think of one in comparison, but anyone that's had their worst storyline and they make like a legend, like Jake the Snake, they make a Legends Jake the Snake. Well, let's release whenever he was drunk and high and showed up to that one house show. Let's make a figure of that. Like, come on, no. So, I mean, it's cool because it's a different DDP. The facial likeness looks awesome. And it's got the little hands, so you can do the little hands.
That's right.
What'll suck is if the articulation won't let you do it and he's looking like he's getting arrested or something. Like,
I won't be too upset about it because the only DDP figures that I have, really, well, the one major one is he's stuck in that position. So you couldn't really play with it as a kid. So I won't be upset if he can't do it, but it would be a nice inclusion.
And that's a notorious figure for just like such a disappointment.
Yeah.
So that is Legend Series 10, and that's definitely going to be a must-buy pre-order for you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So let's move on to another kind of throwback, classic, nostalgic, fits perfectly with your Hasbro figure line that's a lot of fun, and that's the WWE Masters of the Universe Wave 4. Now, these figures have been a lot of fun. I haven't purchased one or even had one in my hands, but that's because I'm a women's division collector, and not to pick a sign or anything, but the old Masters of the Universe He-Man figures had a woman in the first two lines. Tila, and I can't remember the second one, like Sorceress or something. I wasn't a He-Man person. That was before our time, as you'll talk about. That was before we really – so we were a little too young to be into it. But the fact that they took all the way to Wave 5 to release a female, I was like, come on, 2020. Like, that'd be so awesome to release a female. And I even posted a poll on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, like, who wants to see a female? Which one? And they chose Becky, but we'll get to that. But staying on task, let's go over Jake the Snake, who we just talked about.
Yeah.
So these are definitely cool. I'm going to get your opinion, Treж, on what you think about these Masters of the Universe figures.
Yeah. So, again, like Aaron said, they're not necessarily what we grew up with. It was more my brother's, toys. I have old Larry Zbyszko that's kind of modeled after the He-Man type of build. I like them. You know, specifically with this Jake the Snake, the one thing I did just notice looking at it is, you know, it kind of brings back the point we were trying to make about why you're making the Chase variant the green and purple. They're making the Masters of the Universe one the green and purple. Why would it not be the original one? Anyways, I digress from that point to move on to this. I love the Jake the Snake. I like how it looks like the chest piece comes off to reveal the snake on the top. You know, so again, I'm with you. I like them. I don't know if it's gonna be my cup of tea. Like I said, it was before my time.
Yeah, like they're a lot of fun, definitely a lot of fun to look at and stuff. But like you said, I mean, now something that I think is hilarious to think about is, you know, there's a lot of flea markets. There's a lot of flea markets I go to trying to do some fig hunting and stuff. And there's a lot of toy collectors out there now. We go 20 years down the road. And this face of Jake the Snake that comes off, this one little piece, that face is a mask that comes off.
Yeah.
That face is going to be a $1,000 accessory. Okay. So.
Yep.
And it's going to be funny looking through like toy bins and stuff, and you just come across a face like, what the hell? Future generation. So that'll be pretty funny, but that's a cool feature. That's neat. And it comes with Damien, so.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got another Mr. T. Now get ready. We're having Mr. T overload because I think I mentioned before, you know, they acquired the license to Mr. T, WWE did. So Funko Pop, ComicCon exclusive, that 2-pack with Roddy. We got this. And I'm sure we'll get a WrestleMania 1 Mr. T. And no one's really complained about it, but it does piss me off in a sense that I think this is worse than Gronkowski, including him in all these lines, because that's taking away from current superstars or superstars that really deserve to be in the line. I mean, this one isn't a huge deal because there's a lot of legends in it, like a Jake the Snake. So I get that they put him in here, but I mean, and it looks okay for that he's got the Infinity Gauntlet, it looks like, on his right hand. So Thanos-like.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. It looks like he stole it from Thanos. So
he might have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's fine. Not a whole lot to say there. Now we got the Fiend, and this will be a popular one because, you know, it looks pretty cool. I think his hair is a little too blonde. It looks like spaghetti pasta coming out of his head, but it's fun. And I know the feature with this one is you take the hands off and you can put the axe on one hand and the mace on the other. So that's a pretty neat feature, and that should be a pretty cool villain if you collect these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely probably my favorite one out of this specific line here that we've looked at. It seems like it really fits with that universe.
Absolutely, I agree. And then the last one, I mean, this, like I said, I'm trying to stay positive, but man, so it's Seth Rollins. Okay, it's Seth Rollins. He's had 1 million figures. And I think what sucks about it is, like, these waves, I've noticed they have been on the store shelves around me. It seems like the distribution's been great on these Masters figures, and every month we get a new wave. So they've been on top of it. Maybe they've been neglecting all the other lines, but they've been on top of this. And maybe that's why we can't get an updated version of Seth. Seth Rollins' new gimmick, the Monday Night Messiah, where he wears one glove and he acts like Jesus, basically. I mean, it's a really cool gimmick, a heel gimmick, and this looks like a babyface Seth.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing special whatsoever about this figure. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it has a gimmick that we're not seeing in this picture, but I mean, that's a hard pass. To me, that's going to be a huge peg warmer.
I mean, it's got the flaming sword with it. That's kind of a Messiah-esque type thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's it with that series. Now let's go on to Masters of the Universe Wave 5, which I am so excited about because we got our first female in this line, which I love collecting the women's wrestling figures from past, present, and all different kinds. And I wanted a Masters of the Universe female to collect. I thought that would be so awesome. And Becky Lynch is the first and the fitting female to have in this line, honestly. I think it'd be cool to have a Chyna or a Rhea Ripley as well, but I have no complaints about this Becky Lynch. I mean, they've really knocked her face scan out of the park in the past. This rendering looks a little odd, but it's just a rendering, and they've done so good, except for the Ultimate. Don't get me started about the Ultimate face, but overall, I think this is going to be a cool figure, and it's in that Tila mold, the Masters of the Universe Tila mold, it looks like. So I'm really excited for this. And I don't know if you can pre-order these on Walmart.com or if you just got to go straight out fig hunting, but I will be hunting for this, and I might even get two. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I know I already said this with the Fiend one, but this one really just seems like it fits. I love the staff that they're giving her. I mean, it just really fits that universe.
Great figure. Can't wait for that. Might be the one I'm most excited about. And next we have another one that fits, a classic, legend, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat with a literal freaking dragon on
Yeah.
his back. Now this is more of like a drawing than it is a 3D rendering, which is fine. I mean, this is 2 series away, but I think this thing looks good. It looks like it fits, right? Like it definitely
Yeah,
fits in that realm.
I love it. I love the dragon, but I will poke fun at it for 1 second. They could save a lot of money if they just. It looks like they're just gonna carve the dragon out of a Cheeto and snap it to the back of his back there. So 'cause that's what it kind of looks like.
That
is a
does
Cheeto
look like a Cheeto.
Yeah.
It makes me hungry. So yeah, I mean that should be a neat one. Next we have Roddy Piper. I'm not a fan of this because like it's cool. It comes with the little damaged battle damaged chest pieces you can switch out. The face looks great, the upper body looks good, but they give him like gladiator loincloth. Give him a freaking kilt. Like this is the one time that him wearing a kilt would make a lot of sense. That's what he wore, and that's what the Irish or the warriors wore to battle. I mean, watch Braveheart. You know what I mean? So why would you trim it? I don't know. You probably know more about history than I do about that, but
Scottish, I believe. I don't want to.
Scottish, yeah. Whatever it may be, I don't mean to be ignorant about, but I'm just saying. I think they needed to put him in a kilt here and really, making it into a loincloth. That's just dumb to me. I don't understand that. Like,
Yeah.
Kilt. This would be a fun figure to have in a
This
kilt.
line definitely tossed the softball out to them, and they whiffed. They whiffed big time when it came to that. Yeah.
So speaking of wiffle ball, we got the Macho Man next with a wiffle ball bat. No, I'm just kidding. So this is the second Macho Man in the Masters line. The first one was more of the 80s Macho Man, I guess you'd say. And this is NWO Macho Man, the Macho Man that we really had a lot of memories of in WCW. So that's cool. I mean, I think it's a cool color scheme. It looks cool. Doesn't look like there's any real features to him. He comes with that white scepter looking deal. So not much to say about it, but it looks neat.
Yep.
Now, yeah. So to finish out the Masters, they have I believe it's called the Rattlesnake Mountain set, and it comes with the ring. And it comes with two guys. It comes with Stone Cold and Hogan. And a big thing that people have been back and forth on, some collectors really like the Masters figures that you can take off all their gimmicks, their gimmick pieces and whatnot, and armor, and it looks like a normal version of them. Some can't. But it looks like the Stone Cold you can, the Hogan too. It looks like the Hogan you can take off that chest piece and weird thing on his head and make him look like just a AWA Remco, like your Larry Zbyszko, just a jacked version of themselves, a different style. But the ring looks neat. I think the snakes on top look cheesy. I think if the rings didn't have the snakes, I mean, I wouldn't mind getting that ring for my daughter to play with, you know what I mean, or something like. But the snakes, I just think look kind of dumb.
I think it's kind of cheap on their part of including two really iconic people with the ring. Like, I feel like they could have sold those separately. It would have been a nicer gesture and thrown in, I don't know, two other figures into that. I mean, because I got to imagine there's a lot of people out there that would rather have, Stone Cold and Hogan, not necessarily the ring.
And that's a great point. And it seems like that's what they're doing is forcing people to buy the ring, to really boost the sale. So in the rings now, like I don't know what the Masters ring goes for, but the regular rings are around $20 and the figures 15 each. So I don't know what the price is going to be, but I'm definitely out on that one. So let's move on to an exclusive elite from Ringside Collectibles, and it's the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt. Now, this has been a very controversial figure. First off, I believe the attire is based off of a match he had with The Miz where he wore dark pants and he didn't have a collared shirt under his sweater. But the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt is most notable for wearing khakis, a red sweater with a collared shirt underneath, like the basic that's coming out in 111. So, I mean, this elite to me looks horrible. This looks stupid. It's got the painted on Victoria's Secret body paint thing going on. They fixed the belly button. Like, you can see the belly button in this image, and I've seen current images, and the belly button's fixed, but it still looks like straight up swimsuit edition Bray Wyatt, which is so dumb. So the figure, to me, is the accessory in this pack because it comes with the stage that is the Firefly Funhouse, like a cardboard fold-out stage, and it comes with all the puppets here. Ramblin' Rabbit, Mercy the Buzzard, the Boss, and then Abigail the Witch, I believe. So those things are what everyone's going to want this set for. The Bray Wyatt is garbage.
Yeah, I remember watching a couple early videos on that Firefly Funhouse. It was pretty good. So yeah, I'd be interested in that, actually.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's a fun one. But like I said, the basic Bray Wyatt that comes out that's depicting the Firefly Funhouse Bray looks amazing. But yeah, I mean, you'd buy this just for the puppets, and the figure would be the accessory, basically. So, and moving on, we got a unique line called Survivor Series Elite. So they're bringing it back. So I have an Alicia Fox from a Survivor Series Elite line, and I think they're just elite lines. They take old Survivor Series, new ones, and make elites of them. So they got this John Morrison. Now, I believe this is from an old match of his because he comes with the classic, or 2000s or so, SmackDown tag belt. And I love John Morrison. He's toyetic as crap. I love his little boot, the boot fur that they molded on there. Looks like a great figure. I mean, I love this dude.
I agree. I like the sideburns and everything on it.
So next we got Drew McIntyre. Now this one might sell. He's the current champ, and I don't know. I feel like they're kind of pulling a Roman with him, like they're really trying to force him down the fans' throats. I haven't heard as much of a backlash with him, but I think they're trying too hard to make him like this badass, like, oh, I'm a badass, I'm going to win, babyface champ. So I think it's only a matter of time before fans are like, I'm sick of Drew McIntyre. So I don't know how this figure is going to sell. I imagine it'll sell pretty good because it looks like a pretty darn good figure. The Raw t-shirt is a neat accessory for Survivor Series. And the face with the hair over it is dumb. It's the Ring from the Ring movie, it looks like. We'll see in a Bret Hart 2-pack that when they put the hair in the face, they tend to go a little thick with the hair, and it doesn't look good. So it looks like a cool figure. And I think Drew's talented. I think he's a great champion, but I'm just worried that they're pushing him so much and making him this unbeatable guy that, I don't know how this figure will sell.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good to me. I mean, looks like they used some pretty good detail in the upper body with the chest hair and everything. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see.
So moving on to Samoa Joe, he's had a lot of figures as well, and I feel like they usually do really good on the face scan, but this TrueFX face scan looks a little off to me. It's the first time we get him in blue and black, and the inclusion of his knee braces is freaking awesome. That's such a cool detail. I love that. So this looks like a pretty cool figure to me, and it looks like, is that a cloth towel around his neck or plastic? I can't tell. What do you think?
If it's plastic, they did a heck of a job molding it. It almost looks cloth.
Exactly. I mean, if it's because like Shayna Baszler, who has a towel around her neck, I mean, you could clearly tell that it's plastic.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look bad or anything, but yeah, I don't know. Looks okay.
Yeah.
Now, something like I said, I'm trying not to be negative, but this Kane, okay, moving on. This is from, I forget which Survivor Series. I'm not going to even guess, like 08 or something. I don't know. But either way, it looks really off to me, and I don't know what it is, but I think it's because the body style they chose, like Kane has historically been a very big man. Big in the midsection, not heavy by any means, but thick. He's kind of all torso, and the arms aren't as big, whereas this is all arms and legs with a tiny torso. So it does not look like a good Kane body. It doesn't look like it fits. I think the R3 figures, which in the end were pretty horrible figures, I think they got Kane the best as far as likeness-wise. And I think the mask, I know it's a whole mask like he had that night, but it just looks too big. Like, I don't know. I know there are a lot of Kane completionists out there, and that this would be a must-have for them because it depicts a pretty cool time in his attire. But to me, it doesn't even look like Kane.
That was my first initial thought. Was it just he looks too ripped? I mean, not that he wasn't strong. He looks too ripped in that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's my issue with it, is it just doesn't really look like his body.
Mhm.
So let's move on to the Ultimate Edition, and we're going to start off with Wave 6, and me just going right back to being negative, and I'm not trying to, but hear me out. So we're looking at Charlotte Flair. I know. We're starting off with Charlotte Flair. Now, when I heard she was getting an Ultimate, little girl, because we've only gotten one Elite of Charlotte, which is a crime in itself. I mean, she's one of the top performers in the women's division, has been for many, many years. And her character, I mean, she's just great. She's awesome. And the Elite that was released, which this might be the first women's wrestling figure I actually got for my daughter, which kind of got me collecting and got her into it. I mean, I got this a few years ago on the pegs, and the robe is very thick. It's got two different kinds of fabric. It's got a white little shine. It's got a blue sparkle. But basically, this robe quality is stunning. It's awesome. It doesn't have the fur hood that they have in the Ultimate, which is a nice addition. However, if you move down past the head, that robe looks so cheap and screen printed with design, and that bothers me. Like, I recently got the China Triple H 2-pack, and I traded away the Triple H, but his robe, it looked like lingerie. I think Matt Cardona said it best on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast when he said that, it looks like a lingerie robe because it's real thin and intricately like lace detailed, but it's applied detail. There's no molding involved, and that sucks. Like, I'd almost rather have a molded plastic robe with detail than what we're going to get, because this is an Ultimate. This is the most expensive price point. This is around $30 compared to an Elite at 20. And to me, out of anything, her Elite figure should be Ultimate priced, and her Ultimate figure is more of an Elite, not even an Elite, because that robe to me, it just looks so paper thin, and the silver designs look cheap to me. And I might be, in the unpopular opinion on that, but I feel like she deserved to have more of a intricately designed robe. The fur looks great, but everything else kind of looks cheap.
Yeah, the designs on the robe almost look like if anybody wants to actually play with it, they're just going to rub off.
And we'll find out, because my daughter already made claim to it. I mean, I pre-ordered this one again with overnight shipping so I could get a review out. And it might not even make it in my display. It might end up on my daughter's shelf, but she claimed it. She's excited for it. So, I mean, we'll see what it looks like. Her ring attire might be intricately detailed, and that would change my opinion on everything. But I don't know. That robe just bothers me. But the face looks great, and I'm really excited to get a Charlotte Ultimate. So we'll see what the final product looks like.
Sure.
Now, that is a Ringside Collectibles exclusive. Moving on to the Amazon exclusive is The Rock. Now, we have gotten millions of Rocks, and he has a great fan base, and this is cool that we're getting an Ultimate Rock, considering it's good to get Ultimates of, big name guys, because you could really change their poses and everything. This comes with a couple Rock heads. The Rock head in the middle is disturbing and can see through your soul. Every sin that you committed in your life, he's judging you for it in that head. But it's cool that he can do like the Just Bring It hand. The title belt is awesome to the time. I mean, I think it's a fine Ultimate.
I just zoomed in on that middle head, and I can't look away. It's pulling me in, man.
I know. Don't do it. And my whole theory about Ultimates, like, I was against them because that Becky Ultimate, I refused to pre-order and overnight ship the review, because I'm like, that doesn't even look like her. They've done better on basics, like that face, and I stand by that. But I got the Ronda Ultimate, and I realized that you could switch out parts, whatever, to make the Ultimate Ronda with a leather jacket, the kilt, any face that you want, and that was cool. But for the most part, me being a loose collector, having all these extra parts I don't really need. So I'm not crazy about Ultimates, but that's just my thought. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my big thing with the Ultimates is, a point that you probably made in one of your videos before, where do you store all the extra stuff? You're going to lose it all. I mean, unless you can make yourself a little box that's also a stand, but that's extra work, extra money.
Yeah, and I try to put them in little Ziploc baggies and stuff, but I love Elites that come with extra accessories that they can just, boom, put on. Like, Shayna Baszler comes with the belt and the towel, no extra anything. Boom, this is my whole figure, nothing on the side. I love that. But when they come with extra hands and stuff, I'm like, frick, I'm going to lose this. So, yeah, I hear you on that. So, moving on to the Ultimate Edition Wave 7, we got two very special ones and a must-buy for you in the second one. Now, the first one is The Fiend, and that'll be cool to get the Fiend in Ultimate version form because, he's a sought after figure. Elite Series 77 is supposed to be on the shelves right now. It's not where I live. But either way, this is going to sell pretty good, and it'll be interesting to see what else comes of it. If it's just an extra head in the belt, then that's not worth the ultimate price. Sounds like death, the ultimate price. It's not worth the ultimate. but yeah, I mean, it's cool that the belt is coming. Looks a little off to me, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what the final product is because it'll probably be a while before this one's released.
I think the only thing on that I find a little weird is the torso seems pretty small and the legs seem pretty long.
Sure.
That's my only thing, but it could just be the rendering. I mean, I do like it. I mean, I think his figures are all really cool.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Now, the one that I'm moving to that you got to buy this because this is like our wrestling memories of WCW in '98. I'd say is when we're really into it.
Yep.
It's Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And this Ultimate rocks. Now, there was an Elite released. I keep messing with my hat. Whatever. So there was an Elite released, an image released, a 3D rendering released a few years ago. And then the whole scandal came out where he was caught saying racial slurs and everything, and they pulled it. And it was a Hollywood Hogan Elite. Now, that was scrapped, obviously, and this looks like kind of a modified, updated 3D rendering version. And it looks great. I have very minor gripes. I mean, I don't understand why we have two extra faces, which all three faces pretty much look the same. You can tell they have a little different expression, but that just seems like, what? Why? But my number one complaint, the only thing I can say really bad about this is the hair. Like, Homeboy was bald as could be at this time, bald eagle. I don't know if he's got somewhere in his contract, and Randy Savage had the same thing where it's like, you can't mess with our hair. Like, you got to make us have normal hair because they gave a little swoop. And even on the Hasbros with Hogan, they tended to give him more hair than he had. But at this time in his career, I mean, you could like shine that head. I mean, it was bald as can be. So I don't know what they're doing with a little bit of extra blonde hair. I mean, that takes away from looking like Hogan, in my opinion.
I'll definitely be getting this, but to that point, he'll be wearing that bandana and sunglasses all the time. He's not taking that.
Yeah, so I'm excited we're getting it, but yeah, I'm with you. So moving on to Ultimate Edition Wave 8, we have the modern version of Edge. So Edge returned at the Royal Rumble this past year, and he came out to probably the craziest crowd reaction I've heard, but it's exciting. He wasn't expected to come back. He's had spinal stenosis, which is a pretty serious condition, and he's wrestling. I mean, he's making appearances. He did it at Extreme Rules, WrestleMania. He has a cool feud with Randy Orton. So this looks cool, and the first thing I noticed is that unique jacket looks like they fixed the 45-degree Christmas story arms. It looks like they're more down to his waist. Which with an Ultimate, you probably just pop those arms off and put regular arms. So, I mean, I'm sure it's a whole different setup, and that's why it looks like that. But what I don't understand, and this is early, but the inclusion of the screaming face, like mid-spear or something, I guess if you play with them, that'd be all right. But how are you going to display Edge mid-spear? And even if you did, like, I don't know. I think that extra face is a little goofy.
Yeah, me too. I love the jacket. I mean, I think it's a really cool figure, short of that crazy face.
Yeah, and they really got the grizzled old man Edge look down. Now, the next one is awesome. Okay, now this is the Macho Man, and this is what I remember most about him when I was real young, like in the 90s, and I love the Macho Man. If he comes with a white jacket with tassels, I'm going to lose my shit. Completely lose it, and I'll have to get it because that's the Macho Man, like the Hasbro Macho Man that came out with the hat on and the white jacket and the yellow tassels. That's the Macho Man that I really loved, and it looks like that's what this is going to be depicted. Now, he's had a lot of figures released, and again, the one thing that they tend to get wrong, and I don't understand it, is the hair. Like, they give him so much hair, and he probably had the worst hair in the business, and it must have been in his contract somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not too crazy with the head scan on this, but with the glasses and the hat just like this, I mean, it looks cool like that. So if this comes with a white jacket with like green tassels or yellow tassels, holy moly, I'm going to have to pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like it. You know, I like Macho Man. The one gripe I have, which I feel like I keep talking about a lot of different things that I don't like, is that cowboy hat. To me, I get it. It's a computer rendering, but my God, if that's the hat he ends up with, it's gonna look like I think I made the reference to a Looney Tunes cartoon, Muggsy and Bugsy. They had those gigantic hats with nothing in the top. Like there needs to be a dimple on the top of that hat or something because it just looks off. But other
Yeah.
than that, it's an awesome figure. You know, and probably one that I'm gonna pre-order as well.
Yeah, and that's a good point about that hat. It does look like those old, like you'd be in a cartoon saloon and a bullet hole would go right in the middle of it and just
Yep.
miss. So let's move on here to a pretty interesting set. And I don't really know how it's going to be packaged, but let's talk about it. So it's the WrestleMania Celebration Series. Now, I thought it was going to be a 2-pack, but from what I've heard, I think on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, I heard him saying that these are going to be 2 basics. We get a basic Andre the Giant, which I was never an Andre the Giant fan. But, I mean, it's cool that we're getting him, I guess. And then we're getting a Macho Man in pink. Now, this one has been made before. This looks like a little bit of a brighter pink, but just to group those together, what are your thoughts on these two?
So I actually am an Andre fan. I do remember watching old wrestling things with Andre. I think it's going to. You're not going to be able to find it. I think it's going to fly off the shelves. I think people.
Sure.
Andre's a huge draw, and people buy Andre left and right. That's why you can't really ever find that hot Andre Hasbro, right? I mean, that's a very.
Oh,
that's
God,
like
that thing is money. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, you know, and I do like the Macho Man. I like that the outfit that he's wearing, the costume. But again, I think they're all gonna go off. Now, I'm also scrolling down. Now, that ring cart, does that come with it, I assume?
See, that's the selling point to this. This is something that people are saying. This kind of like the puppets in that Bray Wyatt set. Like, this is what people want. Like, not only collectors that play with them, but if you have a fig fed and play with them, that's awesome. You could use this for entrances. But if you display your figures, I mean, holy crap, is there a cooler way to display your figures than this? No.
That's
So,
awesome. Real iconic. Because I can remember the videos of the WrestleMania, right? That was WrestleMania 1, was it, that they came down or something like that?
It was a later WrestleMania, I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. But I remember always watching the video of Andre riding down in that thing, and you know what I mean? So it's cool. It's very iconic.
Yeah. It's a cool looking thing. Now, what my theory is, and I'm probably completely wrong, is being basic figures, I can't see them including a cart. So I can see them including the base in one of them, and then the ropes in the top in another. And that would be cruel because, like you said, I mean, the Macho Man's a pretty hard enough figure to find generally, no matter what's released of him. But Andre is going to be a tough one to find. So if you have to have one of each, I can just see those message boards of people just, bull crap. But remember, if these are basic releases and it's not a 2-pack, they're probably going to split up that ring cart somehow.
Yep.
That's my thought. So we'll see. I mean, it's a nostalgic looking set there. So now let's move to our last couple sets here. We have WrestleMania Elite Series, and this looks really cool. And I'm really excited because the first figure image that we got is China. Now, we kind of knew when they made the DX China, I'm not going to get her because the belts will fall off, but when they made the DX China, we were going to get more versions. And I really wanted this version of her, which is like her singles wrestling, not just the bodyguard for DX, you know, like I just got it because it was the first China, but I wanted her as a competitor. And this is what it represents. WrestleMania 17 when she faced Ivory and won the women's championship. I believe Ivory was in the Right to Censor group, but either way, she came out with like a firework gun and it was just a cool night. And this China looks awesome and I can't wait to get this.
Yeah, definitely unique.
So now we got another Goldberg. We got Grandpa Goldberg. It comes with, now this is probably the most recent Goldberg that we're going to get because he did win the Universal title recently. And it was surprising and it was shocking and it was kind of stupid because he can't really go. He's never really been able to wrestle now. He's very nostalgic to us because we remember Goldberg in WCW in 98. But, I mean, we don't need another Goldberg. I think the selling point of this is that blue. That's blue, right? I am colorblind. The blue
that is blue
title. So I mean, for the title alone, that's cool. The more Goldberg figures, I mean, the better, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Goldberg, but do we really need another one? Probably not.
Nah. Now, next we have a pretty neat Edge. So this Edge is from actually WrestleMania 22, where he faced Mick Foley in a hardcore match, and this was like a big night because this is where Edge really in his career stepped up his game and made himself like a top competitor. Because if you watch any autobiographies on him or any interviews, like he talks about this match because I mean he speared Mick Foley through a flaming table, like he did a type of match no one expected him to do. And I mean, he's one of my favorite all-time performers. I absolutely love Edge. So that's a pretty cool depiction from that night, such a unique night. And I think that would go good with the Royal Rumble Lita that I have tucked away in the back because it's kind of the same time period, the Rated R Superstar. So this looks like a cool one. And that is one that that is a men's figure that I might possibly think about getting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and it comes with a little Louisville Slugger bat. Next, we got Shawn Michaels. I'll be honest, I like to research and see what the attires are from. And trying to research Mr. WrestleMania to try to find out what WrestleMania is from. I mean, I know people out there are going to know it, but remember, I am a women's division fan collector. I'm not a historian for, a lot of men's division stuff. So I don't know what WrestleMania this is from. I'm sure I could find it if I spent a while searching, but he's had so many WrestleMania matches and so many iconic ones that I do not know. I mean, the chest piece looks decent. The attire, it looks great. The attire looks cool. Now, what are your thoughts about?
I'm definitely in the minority here. I have this. I was talking to you, I don't know, a couple weeks ago about this. I find every Shawn Michaels figure that I look at, the face scan's wrong. It just looks weird to me. To me, it's not what I picture Shawn Michael in my head. Granted, I don't watch him every week, so I could be totally off base here. So I'm not a big fan. And looking at his attire, which again, it's iconic probably to some WrestleMania, it looks like a reverse cow print to me. That's all I'm going to say.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. And I always thought, I liked him when he had the heart splotches on him, but he has had these, like, I call them the Pangea. They look like big continents on him, like flat earther map, Lana skirt. I know this is what he wore and it's very accurate. And Mattel does a great job of matching up certain moments. And I know someone will post in the comments what WrestleMania this is from, but I couldn't find it. And that makes me feel like a bad wrestling fan for not knowing because it's probably like a historic night. But the face does look a little off, but like you said, that's one of those superstars that he's kind of had some weird ones.
Yeah.
Now, next is Paul Ellering. Now, he was the manager for the Road Warriors, or I guess Legion of Doom, and then most recently in NXT, the Authors of Pain. Now, he's like an iconic manager, and I think this is going to be a Build-A-Figure, which I don't understand how that'll work because he comes with Rocco the Puppet. Stupid. A lot of people are happy that he's coming with Rocco the Puppet, but it's just something kind of abstract as a short-lived, like a weird gimmick. I don't know. I mean, it's cool to get a Paul Ellering because he deserves a figure. He's been in the business a while, and WWE seems like they kind of just dropped him from TV when the Authors got their call up. So it looks like a cool figure. It's even got the old Paul Ellering head, and then the bald one's the more recent. I don't know if it's going to be a Build-A-Figure where the pieces come in the different sets or what, but I mean, not much to get excited about, but definitely happy for him to get a figure.
Yeah, it's definitely. Unfortunately, I'm not too familiar with him, but it looks like a pretty cool set. Hopefully, they come to
Yeah. So now let's go to the last two series, and these are the fan takeover series. Now, these were polls that were voted on by the fans apparently, and some of them are head scratchers. I don't really understand. I think some of the polls were rigged a little bit, to be honest. So first off, we got Seth Rollins. We've had 1,000 Seth Rollins Elites Basics and all his different attires. And this one looks fine, but once again, I mean, this is depicting like the votes were for, do you want Seth Rollins in Survivor Series, 2016, Royal Rumble, whatever, just as an example from certain nights. So it makes sense how they wouldn't have a modern Seth Rollins in this set, if that makes sense. But, I mean, we don't.
It seems very plain to me. It's just like the basic that's sitting behind me. So, I mean, Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's Seth Rollins. Adam Cole, that's another boring one to me. I mean, he's one hell of a wrestler. I'm a big fan of him as a competitor. I think he's great. But he's had a few releases already, and even though they all look just like him in the face, I mean, the face scan is ridiculously spot on. I don't I don't know why they chose. I mean, he's popular. The Undisputed Era is popular, but I don't think we need another Adam Cole already with that elite articulation. I really don't. I don't see the point. But it looks fine. Now, moving on, we got Shayna Baszler. Now, I'm excited because the Shayna Baszler we got is kind of a more iconic. Now, this one was voted on by the fans, and what I like about this Shayna Baszler is just looking, it looks like the face was updated, and a lot of times they do that, and it looks like they gave her the darker eyeliner and the gray and black pattern. I mean, this will be, for me, a no-doubt buy for me. I don't know if this is going to be like a Walmart exclusive or what, but I'm definitely going to pre-order and overnight this figure if I can because I'm a big Shayna Baszler fan. She's so different, unique, and I really like that attire. And then last, we got Ricky Steamboat. Now, the thing I can say about this is I believe this is a WrestleMania 3 Steamboat when he wrestles the Macho Man in one of the most iconic, best matches of all time. And this has been released like 2 other prior times. So it's good for those that have missed out on the figure, but it's stupid. Like, if this was voted on by the fans, why? Why didn't we get like a different attire voted on? Or why would everyone vote on the figure that we've already gotten? I mean, except for the fact that it is hard to get. You know, the older ones are hard to get, so maybe people just want this reincarnation of the WrestleMania 3 re-release so that you can get it. But then that decreases the value of the older ones that were released. So I mean, it looks like a cool figure, but the fact that we've had this so many times before, I'm not too excited.
Is the belt really that big, or do you think it's just a scaling issue?
I think it's just a scaling issue. I forgot to see if we've noticed that before, but that is something I've noticed is that belt does look huge. I'm glad you pointed that out. Mm-hmm. That looks ginormous. All right. So moving on to the last set here, we have WWE Fan Takeover Series 2. Now, Christian, I love Christian. Edge and Christian, I got a sentimental spot in my heart for them, and this looks cool. But people are saying, and I just haven't seen it because, you know, I started collecting Mattels pretty recently, that this was released, this exact same figure attire was released before. So it's like, man, there's so many other attires and other moments that Christian has had in his career that we could have got. And we got this one that was already released. So I'm excited because I get people that weren't able to get it before. I mean, a lot of the earlier elites are really hard to get. They're hard to find. So a re-release of this is kind of in the same boat of Ricky Steamboat. Like, why would we vote on a re-release? But I can see why, because it's a way to get the figure if we weren't able to before. But it's cool. I mean, it's one that I would be on the lookout for.
Yeah, I like it because it's got the old WCW Heavyweight Championship belt with it.
Sure, yeah, when it was brought up and made the Undisputed title and all that.
Yeah.
All right, so this next figure, I'm going to play a game with you. I'm going to put you on the spot, but if you can't guess it, it's completely an honest mistake. Okay. So they edited Johnny Gargano's attire. Johnny Gargano has been known to model his attires after, you know, superhero type things. He had a Venom type attire that he had an elite released in. Now this attire has a detail missing on the vest, and it is supposed to represent a Marvel character. Can you guess which one it is without that detail added?
A Marvel character specifically?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. I know, I'm gonna guess that it's an X-Men vest because I feel like there should be an X there. But I'm not sure what character itself, so I'm gonna just throw out Wolverine.
Yeah, bing, 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 you got it. That was hard. I didn't expect you to get that because it's hard to tell, because on his attire that he wore, he had 3 claw marks going across his chest. And it looked awesome, like the Wolverine claw marks, you know? So I understand that they can't really do that because, you know, they don't have the Marvel license or anything. So I guess I understand, but to me, just that sucks. You know, that's the whole point of getting it. Like, they had the Venom elite of his and they kind of just moved it so it looked kind of like it. But I mean, the 3 claw marks are kind of signature, but at least do 2 or do 1 or.
Yeah.
And then, wait, this is a pretty early. I mean, this is the last set we're covering, so I don't know when this one's going to be released, but they might make an update. But this is, again, another wrestler that I'm a huge fan of. He's a great wrestler, very athletic. I think he's underrated. He's down in NXT. But, yeah, I think missing that detail just sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. He seems pretty cool. I kind of like the outfit. But, yeah, the first thing I thought of when I looked at that was like one of the old X-Men outfits, you know.
You nailed it. I didn't expect you. So good for that you nailed that one. Now, moving on, we got Randy Orton. I don't know what this is from, but fans voted on it. Now, what I love about this Randy Orton is I love when they do like a computer rendered face because it looks like a GoldenEye bad guy, like from GoldenEye 64. so I mean, this obviously isn't the final product. And I mean, Randy Orton's one of those guys that he's had a million figures too. And he's got a pretty big fan base, and that belt's pretty cool that he comes with. So I think it's a cool Randy Orton. It's pretty neat, pretty interesting. But I get a kick. They had a Paul Orndorff prototype picture out there that had that GoldenEye villain face, and I just get a kick out of that. So it looks like a cool Orton.
Yeah.
Now the next one we're going to talk about is the X-Pac that they're releasing in the NWO gear. This one seems like the most controversial one in the line. It seems like a lot of people aren't too big a fan of it. I mean, I remember him in this attire in WWE when he joined the NWO. He was 6, in WCW and the NWO, and they released that figure, and it was an awesome figure. I wish they would have, and I don't know if it was an option, but I wish they would release like a white and black King of the Ring 94 1, 2, 3 kid, because I'd add that to my collection. But I think to me this X-Pac's pretty iconic. I don't know if he was in video games in this attire, but this to me really makes me remember a time period of him wearing that. I don't know why, because a lot of people don't seem to feel that, but I think it looks like a cool X-Pac figure.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, definitely the callback to NWO. Obviously, this was after after WCW, but I really like I like it. I'd be interested in getting that one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
So that was all the series, all the images of the WWE release. And now it is important to note that they are coming out with AEW Unrivaled Series 2 and 3. And they have released some images, although just going through and making sure that I give full credit to WWE.com for these images. I can't really find where I can get images from AEW and post them legally and do it the right way. So that's why we didn't cover those, but there's no women in those 2 lines, just so you know. So yeah, that's all the series. I'm really excited for a lot of them. I think you definitely have a lot on your must-have list. I have all the emails that I'm super excited about, plus King Corbin and Jerry Lawler that I'm going to add. I might think about getting a crown and a scepter and a robe, and I'm going to be the king of Lumberjillville. I might have to look into that.
As long as it doesn't come out of all of our budget, but that's all right. We'll talk later.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and hopefully you could see the images and we were a little entertaining. I just have to show my Owen Hart shirt from Nostalgia. I usually only wear women's wrestling shirts, but I'm wearing the Owen Hart one tonight. So, and we got Bret Hart in the background. You know what? That's one thing that we need to cover that we didn't get to cover.
What's that?
The Bret Hart and Goldberg 2-pack.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So just looking for that here, I mean, okay, so I'll insert,
We don't have to insert the photo. We can just kind of talk about it if you want. I mean, that's,
That's fine. Yeah, because we're going live. I don't know why I didn't include that in this, but basically we got the Elite 2-pack of Bret Hart and Goldberg from WCW, and this one's caused a lot of controversy because the accuracy it's a mashup. It's all over the place. We got Bret Hart in ring gear from WCW, which is great. But he comes with the metal plate that he wore when he was wearing a hockey jersey in street gear on a Monday Nitro when Goldberg speared him and got knocked out, and he pulled off his hockey jersey and it was a plate. But if they were committing to the ring gear, then why would they include the plate and why would they include a generic Monday Nitro t-shirt? It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Goldberg, it's a fine WCW Goldberg. Now, I think the selling point of this 2-pack is it comes with the WCW US title, and that's cool, but it's just all over the place. If they would have put, more accurate to that night, that moment of Bret Hart in that hockey jersey, even if it was just a plain hockey jersey, I think that would have been better. And I also think that the Bret Hart head, they swing and miss every time they make a Bret Hart. Even his Ultimate figure, every one of the heads included in the Ultimate figure had hair in the face. Why?
Maybe that was just iconic to him being when he wrestled. He always had hair in his face. I don't know. It's weird. It looks bad.
I'll stand and say it was not. And anytime he had hair in his face, it was like a couple strands, and he's got like full.
Yeah.
So I can't stand that they've done that. So
I was tempted to get that 2-pack until I saw that kind of weird stuff. I'm like, maybe not for me.
I know, and that would be nostalgic. And also, the logo that's on the box is different to the time era. The logo on the box is like the Star WCW logo. And that was after you watched it. I watched it during that Star logo era, which was like right before it died. But,
I remember that. Yeah, I definitely remember that Star.
But this event happened on more of the Monday Nitro that we 98, 99, like what the T-shirt depicts. So that's confusing that they have like that logo on the box that's from a different time. So it's all over the place, and that just bothers me.
Mm-hmm, sure.
So that being said, now I believe we covered everything here. So I just hope everyone enjoyed the images and our, dumb commentary included. Hopefully added some entertainment to it. But I appreciate y'all stopping by Lumberjillville, and be on the lookout. We have Nikki Cross, both her basic Series 111 coming this week, and I'll be reviewing them as soon as they get to me and putting it up. So I'm interested to see how those look.
Yeah. Take it easy, everybody.
All right. Have a good night, y'all.